What's up everybody, it's the video expert. Let's talk about the Sony RX0. A couple of days ago I had the chance to play around with this little camera at the IBC 2017, and there's so many things to love about this concept and one or two things that you might hate. Let's talk about it. So first, the obvious things. It's very small, fairly heavy for its compact form factor, very robust, high quality build. It's drop proof, waterproof up to 10 meters without any housing, up to 100 meters with an extra accessory. Talking about accessories, it's very modular built. So it comes with many accessories that are built specifically for this camera. The front protection, you can take it off, put filters on it. So it's very well thought through, this concept. The menu system is very familiar. If you work with Sony cameras, you will see the same system as in this RX100 or even the A7S II and everything. Not only in the menu system, you can also shoot in S-Log2 with the RX0, which is great if you want to match colors with bigger cameras. When I shot with the A7S II, I shot a documentary with the A7S II, and I had to match GoPro and drone shots with it. And it was kind of hard to match the colors. If you work in log, it's going to be great to match the colors. You will be shooting 60p in full HD. It does up to 960 frames per second, but of course in a much smaller resolution. Since we're going to be seeing a similar sensor as in the RX100, it's very likely to get a full HD 120p, the 30 frame space, or 100p if you're in Europe, 25 frame space. Yeah, the basic ISO will be 1600. As mentioned, it's a very modular system and you will be able to shoot in S-Log2. It will have multicam control. You can control up to 5 units with the Play Memories app or a dedicated wireless transmitter. As Yoshi stated in our IBC video, they're working on controlling 15 units remotely. When you look at the camera, it's built symmetrical. There was a 360 rig robot on wheels, which looked very impressive. And when you see that, it's obvious that Sony actually concepted this camera to be pretty much like a very compact multi-purpose camera for to put it in weird angles to for VR rigs as a crash cam, since you have log and a fairly big sensor. Like I remember watching a movie and it was shot on, I don't know, Alexa or Red or anything, and the crash cam shots were totally GoPro. I found that to be like very, I don't know, not perfect. And even when they tried to match the colors, you could totally see that it was GoPro shots. So with this camera, it should look better without sacrificing GH4s, GH5s as crash cams. I'm seeing this being used as a crash cam. So it's a symmetrical camera. The optical center is right in the middle of the camera. As mentioned, that's going to be great for VR rigs. It doesn't have 4K internal recording. However, you will be getting clean HDMI 4K output. Again, I've seen a couple of rigs at the booth, at the Sony booth at the IBC, and it looks kind of weird at first. Why would you rig up such a small action camera? But then again, think about it. Every bit of weight that you can save when running around with the camera the whole day. If you ever used a Sony FS7 and had to shoot a wedding or an event or an expo the whole day with that camera, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure we will be seeing this camera as a run around, run and gun camera and still see great footage with it. I mean, if you look at the promo video, something in blue, it looks amazing what they were able to achieve with this little camera. What I'm trying to say is I don't see this camera to be a competitor, let alone a GoPro killer per se, because it follows it's a different concept. When you look at action photos from a GoPro, you totally want to have the full benefit of the whole scenery, of the background, of the foreground, and shallow depth of field is certainly nothing that contributes to the impression of the imagery. So when we're talking about action footage, like sports, I still see GoPros to work much better. A bigger sensor is certainly not an advantage when you look at it from that perspective. The RX0 comes with a a few modes that sound surprising at first. The high heat mode, whatever that is. So that was the first thing when I heard it's going to be a larger sensor, the RX0 sensor, because here's the thing. I've worked with like all the usual Sony cameras, the RX0, this one, the A6300 and the A7S II, which I sold recently, and all of them shut down on me because they overheated. I shot a documentary, as mentioned, with the A7S II and the RX10. That's actually the only one where I didn't see any overheating problems. So the RX1, anything other than 25p, it's gonna shut down. The same thing happened with the Alpha 6300, and I'm expecting that to happen with the RX0 too, because it's the same sensor and it's a much smaller body. That's why they're putting something in there that's called the high heat mode. I don't know what that means. Maybe you can't shoot any videos longer than a couple of minutes. I don't know. We'll find out soon. I didn't see a demo at the booth. And it will come with 2 focus modes, near and far. So you can tell the camera or the autofocus which priority to have when it's focusing. Interesting though, it won't have any focus tracking once it's rolling. It's going to be interesting to find out about this behavior once you're really shooting with it, once we get to see some tests and real hands-on footage. So it doesn't have any internal 4K, but it does have external clean HDMI output. So I'm seeing this to be a versatile multicam solution that you can like build bigger multicam setups with it. And as mentioned, definitely the perfect choice as a crash cam. So the RX0 is expected to retail in October, ship in October for around $700, 800 euros. Certainly not cheap, fairly expensive as many other Sony cameras. But it comes with a couple of big benefits that you might want to have in such a small form factor. And I'm seeing a couple of productions actually really put that camera to practical use. Do you see yourself using this camera, getting an RX0 rather than a GoPro? What are your thoughts about it? Put it into the comments. I'm really curious what you think about this concept. Do you think the RX0 is going to have some overheating problems as well? Or are you missing anything? Something that you would have love to see in this new action camera concept. I actually don't want to call it action camera. I want to call it a multi-purpose compact, super compact camera. That makes much more sense. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to not miss anything camera related, videography, video production, After Effects, Premiere tutorials. Thank you for watching and see you next time.